And welcome back. Byron Allen began his career as a stand-up comic, appearing alongside stars like Johnny Carson. Now he's a media tycoon, a prominent figure in the cable and broadcast TV industries, owning channels like the Weather Channel. And he's working on expanding the company's portfolio now. He's going to be acquiring the assets of the Black News Channel after a bankruptcy court approved his $11 million purchase. The Black News Channel was a small startup cable news channel that never really got off the ground ratings-wise, but was producing some great work. So let's talk about the future of that and more. Joining me now is CEO and co-founder and founder of the Allen Media Group, Byron Allen. Byron, there's a lot of curiosity about what your plans are for the assets of the Black News Channel. This was a low-rated channel that had a really hard time reaching households. That's true for a lot of independent channels. So what is your plan? What's your vision for the Black News Channel's assets?
Well, first of all, Brian, it's good to see you, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks.
Listen, the Black News Channel, we have a huge opportunity there. First of all, after we bought it, we immediately, within 10 minutes of wiring the money, we changed the name from the Black News Channel to the Griot. And the Griot is West African for storyteller, historian. So we want the channel to be a lot more inclusive. You know, I never really quite thought it was a good idea, the Black News Channel. I don't think we need the Black News Channel. I think we need a good news channel, a terrific news channel like yours. So, you know, the network's going to be a lot more inclusive. It will be far more, focused on lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. So by way of example, we went and did a terrific deal with the HBCUs to license more than 2,000 of their sporting events, which will also air on what is now Black News Channel, what is now the Griot, and used to be the Black News Channel. And that's important to us because that's going to help us to amplify these sporting events at the HBCUs, these historic Black colleges and universities, and to help educate these kids at those schools, because education is the key. And we have to invest a great deal more into education, paying teachers a lot more to educate our children, our greatest asset. We don't have enough intellectual capital and human resources in this country to maintain where we are and to grow and continue to thrive.
Talking about learning, what have you learned over the years in the media industry, which is, let's be frank, mostly white male-controlled media industry, all those media titans? You have been buying up properties. What have you learned over the years doing so?
We don't have enough diversity and ownership. We don't have a real democracy until people really own these assets. Women don't own these networks, and they don't control their image and their likeness and how they're produced and depicted. Asian people are pretty much non-existent in the media landscape in terms of how we're depicting them or even seen. A lot of the Spanish language networks are owned by people who don't even speak Spanish, and gay people don't own their networks as well as African Americans. We need to own our networks, control the narrative, control how we're produced and depicted and seen around the world. And until all of our voices are heard, then we don't really have a true democracy. So I think it's important that we have real support from corporate America. The Black News Channel failed because it didn't get subscriber fees. So by way of example, CNN collects over $1 billion a year in subscriber fees. When people pay their cable bill, $1 or $2 goes to CNN. In the case of the Black News Channel, unfortunately, it was zero. And the ad dollars for the Black News Channel equaled less than $1 million, $2 million at most on a good day. That means the chairman, the CEO of every Fortune 500 company, their personal compensation was more than all of the advertising on the Black News Channel, their personal compensation. So corporate America needs to lean in and support diversity and voices and ownership. And that means subscriber fees from the cable operators and ad dollars from corporate America. Corporate America needs to support diversity and ownership and voices. And if we had done that, the Black News Channel would not have filed bankruptcy. And the tragedy is that I bought it out of bankruptcy.
Right. You own brands like the Weather Channel. In the 30 seconds I have left, is the future of these channels all streaming, or is it all of the above?
I think it's additive. I don't think anything will replace the other. I think we will have streaming, we will have over-the-air broadcast, we will have cable. And that's what's happening with the Griot. it's streaming, it's over the air, it's broadcasting, and we have the Weather Channel direct to the consumer. So
Right.
you can go and just get the Weather Channel for $2.99 a month direct to the consumer. Everything's additive. We launched the Weather Channel in Espanol, the first and only 24-hour Spanish language network focused on weather, because this is life-saving information. Because the weather, climate change, and global warming, it's the greatest threat to humankind on planet Earth, and we have to get ahead of it and talk about it. And thank goodness for this climate bill, because
a former
it is
owner
a
of the
real
Weather Channel was the former owner of the Weather Channel was a climate denier, and now you own the Weather Channel, and you know the truth about the climate. Byron, thank you so much for coming on. Good to see you.
Thank you. I really
We're out of time here on TV, but we'll see you this time next week for many more reliable sources.